Down in the Den, so go tell a friend. The best podcast on earth's about to begin. We got jokes and news and movie reviews. After Dark NC-17 with the crew. Interviews with the best artists around. So like, comment, subscribe. The show's starting right now. Let's go. Like, comment, subscribe. The show's starting right now. Welcome to Down in the Den. It's your boy Marz, and welcome back to the home for the most dynamic creatives and talents all over the entertainment industry. And joining me today, I have an extremely talented artist hailing from Seattle, Washington. She is classically trained vocalist, and her smooth jazz, smoky vocals are so nice. And she's super unique, so I am super stoked. I am super happy to bring all the friends of the Den, the ultra-talented M-Ritz. How are you doing today, sister?
I'm doing so well, and I'm so happy to be here with you today.
Fantastic. It is a pleasure. My producer brought your music to me, and I was like, dude, we have to get her on immediately. This is fantastic, and I'm just so happy to have you here. So one thing that we do here is consistent in the Den. I'm a bit of a nerd, you know. Don't let the cool beard fool you. I'm a bit of a nerd. And one thing that I noticed in every comic book I grew up, everyone had an origin story, either that it came from a planet or got bit by a spider. It was something that transformed them, something that made them who they are. So I ask to you today, what's your origin story?
But yeah, I definitely got bit by the music bug. I feel like I came out of the womb singing. Seattle's great, but it's not like New York. It's not like LA where there's a lot of opportunity, a lot of people around. And so, I sing in school choirs. I was always trying to have the solos. And one of my choir directors recommended I take voice lessons, and I started training in classical and jazz, did select choirs. I went through phases. At one point, I wanted to be a rock star. Then I wanted to be a jazz singer. And then I wanted to be an opera singer. And I went to college, a small private school in Eastern Washington with the vocal scholarship. I was planning on singing opera. And I also have a very big nerdy side of me with history and philosophy and politics. So I was in the library all the time reading, history books, philosophy books. And I was like, maybe, I'm going to change the world by becoming a history professor. And so I ended up I switched majors. I ended up getting my master's degree in history. And I always continued, I maintained my vocal scholarship with singing, voice lessons, choirs like that. I sang in a funk band in college. When I went to grad school, I sang with a local blues band in North Carolina. I always kept my foot in the music world because it was just so part of who I am. But it was interesting. I was in between trying to figure out if I wanted to get a PhD or not, because I wasn't sure after my master's degree if I really wanted to be, in the academic bubble. So I had moved out to New York. And at the time I was engaged, I moved out here for my then fiance. It was not a good match. Great guy, just it wasn't right, and ended that. And then I was out in New York on my own. I'm not from here. I was trying to figure out what I was doing, and then I always wrote poetry growing up. But I was like, you know what? I was inspired. I was inspired by just the glamour of the New York nightlife and things like that. And, heartbreak with dating and whatever out here. And so I started, songwriting, and I got a keyboard, and I had a friend of mine who was also into music from college, and she really helped encourage me. And then I was just kind of running around here in New York, trying to figure out something with no, background, no community here. I would go to open mics and sing jazz. I wanted to sing pop, but people always complimented my jazz singing. So I went to open mics, and people were like, great. So where can I hear your music? And I was like, well, yeah, about that. So that's what really motivated me to try to figure out who I could work with and start from there. And long story short, I ended up meeting Cortex with Holland Jungle. I actually went to his recording studio with a rapper at the time to sing a hook for the rapper song. And then unfortunately the rapper never released the song, but at least I got to meet Cortex and Holland Jungle. And he's been unbelievably like supportive and just in my corner, helping me develop as an artist, helping me feel empowered and learn that, you know, I have vision and I should be, you know, sticking with my vision. So yeah, so that's where that started. I moved back to Seattle before the pandemic. I had a job in the diamond business, and I got really into diamonds and diamond history and the industry. And but I still loved music, and it just like really influenced the way I was thinking about how I was developing my style. And I was like, all right, going really jazzy, really flashy diamonds kind of stuff, and trying to evolve like, you know, a jazzy pop kind of style. So I'm back out in New York and about to release music that Cortex and I have been working really hard on, you know, with other people we've worked with. So really excited about where we are today.
I'm super excited to hear that project. Shout out to Cortex, the whole Holland Jungle, Education, Johnny Raps gang. We've had a lot of the team on the show. So shout out to Cortex doing big things. And that's super dope. Now, in your bio, you talk about some of your vocal influences, and they're very diverse, but all dynamic, from Bajort to Ella Fitzgerald. If you had to do your all-female vocalist Mount Rushmore, who's your four? Who's on your Mount?
That's a great way to put it. Yeah, definitely Ella Fitzgerald, Peggy Lee, Aretha Franklin, Eva Cassidy.
Nice.
I want to say Billie Holiday, but yeah, something along those lines. There are just so many artists that are so great. Oh, and Maria Callas, she's an opera singer, but very big influence for me.
Love it. I love it. That's a hell of a list, a hellacious list. I think it was about 6 or 7, but I think any of them are interchangeable. So it's a super dope list. Now, you started releasing your musical journey back in 2018. You're really just coming into your own. You've already released your debut EP. Tell us about this new project. You mentioned that you were working on a new project. It's coming out pretty soon, I understand. Give us a little bit of the making into that and the development of that project.
Right. So when I started releasing music, I was initially trying to establish like how I sounded, my vocal range, play around with some different styles. And then it started out with Cool Cat when I was like, all right, I'm doing this jazzy pop thing. And that's how I'm going to brand myself. And so now what I'm doing with this EP that's coming out on the 8th, I also wanted to show evolution as a songwriter. Because when I started out, I was so confused, and thankfully I was working with a lot of really skilled musicians. And now I've really worked on honing in on my craft. And I also worked and saved a lot of money to invest into a better sound, a more evolved sound with, you know, instruments and, you know, orchestration and whatnot. So, so this EP it's influenced with the sound generally of like a James Bond kind of soundtrack. I really love, I never thought I was going to get into it, but I really got into Daniel Craig James Bond films. And I always loved the classic, you know, like Shirley Bassey songs she would do, like Goldfinger and that. Yes.
Yeah. Love it.
And while I that was the initial idea, I was like, I'm going to do a cover of Diamonds Are Forever and just totally revamp it, because I cannot outdo Dame Shirley Bassey. No, not by any measure. But I wanted to take something and like set it to like where people could be on a dance floor or in the lounge having a cocktail and like, hey, I like this, you know? So it starts out with that. And then it's kind of like this progression of there's like deep house, there's a little new disco kind of influence in there, and very like soundtrack cinematic kind of vibes. And then there's one piece, By Now, is the title track. And that's where I was like, we have to have an oud player in this, and we need to have like, you know, violins and all of that. And so it's just a really fun kind of, I feel like it's the best work I've made so far. Of course, not by myself, but, you know, I feel like it's a development showing, you know, maturation as an artist growing. And then shortly after, a month after this EP, I'll be putting out a jazzy pop, a really jazzy pop single. So I'm just like trying to just throw out everything there, you know, like here's the package. I've worked really hard on this. I hope you guys like it. So that's what that is.
Well, it sounds like a merger of like all your greatest interests and all greatest loves, you know, from literally diamonds to jazz to pop. So it can't go bad when you have all those loves in one place, and we're all about love and unity here. So I'm super excited. Do you have the title of this project?
Yeah, so it's called By Now is the EP.
Okay.
Like by BYNOW. I had a brother who got confused and thought I meant to put BUY, and I was like, no, BY now. Yeah, so that's coming out a week from tomorrow.
Perfect. So July 8th, guys, please get it, stream it. It's available everywhere, and just run these numbers up. It's going to be freaking awesome. So one of the things that we do on the Den, we play a little game. Talking about your music has been fantastic. Letting the friends of the Den know about your story, it's been fantastic. But we want to bring you into the family. We want to bring you into the fold, because that's what it's all about: community, creatives, highlighting other creators. But as much as I want to give it away, we have some rules. You have to earn it. So we play a little game. The game is called If You Don't Know, Now You Know, baby, baby. Shout out to the late Notorious B.I.G. This game is brought to you by our friends at Pod Debts. Thanks for the sponsorship, guys. You can order Pod Debts right now and get 10% off using discount code THEDEN. That's THEDEN. And what podcast does for podcasters like me, sometimes it gets boring as hell asking the same 4 questions. It's just the format of the game. So what Pod Debts has done, it's given us a very cool app, which we can in turn use to have some very cool and unique questions. So I ask you, M-Ritz, are you ready?
I'm ready.
All right. So the first question is going to be from the WTF category. So it's going to be completely random, and it's going to let your fans know what's on your mind. So here it is. If animals could talk, which one do you think would be the rudest?
Cats.
Absolutely. I'm a dog, man. We love cats. But absolutely. They have no respect. They will drop your glass. They will slap you. Cats do that. And I think they'd be very condescending. I think
I even have one, so
yeah,
I'm very aware.
Cats. They're extremely rude. They know
yes.
All right. So I agree. You know, I'm not even going to argue with that. So, are you a conspiracy theorist? I'm a little bit of a conspiracy theorist myself. Or do you have any?
I don't know that I could come up with anything off the top of my head. I guess the only thing I'm not going to say that. I'm from Seattle, so there's the whole thing about like Kurt Cobain, like did he kill himself? I'm not going to go there. I'm not going to go there today.
I'm a Cobain, I'm a Nirvana super fan, so I've heard all of the rumors. All right, so here's one. Have you ever heard of Hollow Earth?
No.
Okay, so Hollow Earth theory is a theory that the inside of Earth is hollow and that they may have some type of civilization or aliens going on there. So this is from the conspiracy theory category. If the Hollow Earth theory is true, what the hell do you think is happening inside of the planet?
A lot of billionaires and their bunkers, and that's what I would guess.
Probably right. They probably got a super cool city and setting us all up. I'm talking to you, Elon. I'm talking to you. All right. So this category is this or that.
Okay.
All right, here we go. Michael Jackson or Prince, and why?
Oh, that's really hard.
It's
That's really, really hard.
it's rough. I didn't even like doing that. I didn't feel good spiritually inside, but I know you can do it.
I would only say I'm gonna regret whatever I say because I have to choose one over the other.
There's no right answer. There's no wrong answer.
I would have to say, um, musically Michael Jackson. I He was like my first, like when I was a kid, I was singing like, the way you make me feel and
Oh
like seeing his Thriller, and it's just like it's so more nostalgic for me. Prince was a little earlier than it was still, yeah, it was a little earlier, but I guess I just have to stick with Michael, but that's really hard.
no, I agree. I love them both. God rest both. I love both. But
Yes.
yeah, I'm at the end of the day, Michael still certain music. I can throw on a Michael documentary and get lost in it to this day. So I agree.
Mm-hmm,
All
mm-hmm.
right. So the final question, and if you don't know, now you know, and this is in the musician category, perfect for you. Which quality do you think is most important for a musician? A unique style or technical skill?
A unique style, because I think, you can be technical, but if you don't have like a personality, if you don't have something with the style can be cultivated and developed and you can improve upon it. Technical skill, of course, improves upon, but if you don't have like that poetry in your heart, um, that's, I'll leave it at that.
No, I agree. At the end of the day, if you can't make someone feel something, it doesn't matter how clear, how crisp those vocals are. If I'm not
Hmm.
feeling something, you're not doing something right. That's what I say about music.
Right. Hmm.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
So you know what that means? That means you are official like a referee with a whistle. Den made approved. You get the stamp.
Oh,
You're in. We're going to send some lovely down in the den merch. We have T-shirts. We have coffee
ah,
mugs. Anything you want, just we'll communicate that. I'll have our producer get you so we can send that out. And what that has also earned, we're going to put some of your music on our DITD radio playlist. So we're going to be sponsoring that and putting some music up there, making sure that all the friends of the den are exposed to your lovely voice. And not only that, we'll add you to our group chat, which will link you with a ton of great artists, producers, directors. We are a whole community of creatives, and you'll be able to plug into those resources. So we welcome you to the family. Thank
thank
you so
you.
much. You've been a
I'm
blast.
honored.
You are amazing. Let the friends of the Den know where they can find you on social media and any shout outs you want to give. You've earned it. The floor is yours.
Yes, social media, Instagram's my main thing. It's ms.ritzy. Um, and definitely shout outs to Holland Jungle, Cortex, Johnny Raps. Johnny got me connected with you, and just the community that Holland Jungle has created. Putting together artists here in New York for those of us who have no idea where to begin. So big shout out there.
Absolutely. Well, guys, please, July 8th, pick up that album. Buy now. It's a double entendre. I love it. It's awesome. Buy it now, stream it now, download it now, however you consume music nowadays. I'm old. I used to get CDs, but however you get your music, please check it out. I'm giving it my stamp. You know I'm batting 1,000. I only stamp the real. So thank you so
Thank
much for joining us. Welcome to
you.
the community. And as we end every single episode, for M-Ritz, it's your boy Marz. Peace, love, unity, and respect. Deuces.